Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Be That Lawyer with Fretzin podcast. I am just so excited to be with you today. There's a lot of people that I do get excited about, and there's some that I get really excited about. And Sam is at the top of the list. He's just a lightning bolt of energy and passion. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy the show today. Before we jump into the weeds, I want to just remind everybody to check out my above the law articles that are being posted monthly in their small business or small law firm category. Writing articles every month, making sure that I'm staying up to date on what's going on that's new that I think lawyers want to hear about: business development, LinkedIn, marketing, etc. So definitely go to above the law. You can either type my name into the search category, or you can go to the small firm category. Anyway, with that all being said, welcome to the show, Sam. So good to see you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Steve. We're long overdue.
Yes. Yeah, we are long overdue. I think you were back on the show in 2022, and I've just been raging. I think we're coming up on 500 shows and two a week, and it's been just amazing. But I'm happy that you're coming back to share your wisdom with my amazing audience today. Let's start off with, boy, this really hits home, the quote of the show. Done is better than perfect. I love it. And welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about that quote.
It's the line that I live by. Fast execution, moving things forward, learning as you go along. And that formula has proved to be not only fruitful for me, but also people that have passed on this kind of mindset to people in my core team, our entire team of infrastructure with our VAs and our in-house team, and also my legal academy members who have been through a program who got over the mentality block of overthinking and just getting things done
Yeah.
and just moving on, pretty much.
Yeah, the perfectionist attorney. We know all about him, don't we?
Yep.
All right.
We all fall into this trap, so everybody could learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been trying to get lawyers for a while now to just post on LinkedIn, post a video, post a written something. Just get going. Just do it. Get on there. Everybody's on there. And so they just get that analysis paralysis. And eventually when they do finally put up a video or put something up and they realize, oh, that was not a big deal. That was quite easy and I can do that again. So that's one of 1,000 things that lawyers, I think, struggle to just get it done, get something out the door. Without it being perfect. That's okay.
For sure. And I
So,
think a big part of it, Steve, is a lot of people just have a vision of how it should look like
yeah.
instead of just being okay with being you and how way your style is, and just accepting who you are. So, it doesn't have to be a certain way. You don't necessarily have to start off a certain way. Everybody's like looking for the perfect formula. The perfect formula is the formula that works for you. So just, getting over that fear, putting yourself out there really makes a difference.
Yeah, and I like what you said about also just being authentic. If you're not comfortable or ever want to be on camera and we're telling you to do video, don't do video. Like you can write something, you can do audio, you can come up with a number of different ways to get something out there that isn't video if that's not your jam. I think that's fine. Just don't let it be the reason that you're making excuses to not get anything out there, especially when you know it's important to, build your brand. So, hey everybody, Sam Mollaei is the CEO of My Legal Academy. And do you want to just, because you've got such a crazy background, would you mind giving us sort of the abbreviated version of where you came from and how you came to be?
So I started a journey, it's stuck in a law firm, questioning my life. I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for my bar results and I'm actually dreading being a lawyer. Uh, Passed the bar. Now I'm like, I gotta figure these things out. Very long story short, I met somebody who was 1 year ahead of me who went and started his own law firm. And the whole mindset was that if he can do it, so can I. And also the second part was realizing that it wasn't a perfect law firm that he started, but he's still making money and doing well with it. That kind of gave me the push to go start my first law firm. I was always a little bit more social media savvy, marketing savvy, so I kind of leaned into it early. Started focusing on client generation and online marketing and getting to the whole world of Google ads, then click funnels and sales funnels, then Facebook ads. And I leaned into it as much as possible, and I started replicating the success I was getting with each law firm onto the next law firm. Fast forward to last year, I it had uh, 7 law firms that I'm either the sole owner or partners in, and that was very overwhelming. I was running 7 law firms at the same time. I consolidated down to 4, and then Steven's my first time announcing it. I added on 2 more ever since I consolidated down to 4. So now that I'm up to 6 now again. As of yesterday, I added on.
I think they call it a glutton for punishment. Is that what they call it?
Yeah. And even sometimes I lose count of, how many law
Oh
firms
my
I'm a part
God.
of. But
Oh my
but
God.
now 6 law firms and also running my legal academy. But Steve, my most impressive achievement that I had last year was I went on a 5-day vacation to Bahamas just last month, and I didn't bring. Not only did I not bring my laptop, I didn't even work on my phone for 5 days. And my
Mm,
law firms and my legal academy was able to grow continuously, get more clients, increase the revenue, team growing, everything without necessarily me being the bottleneck of the law firms. And that's what made me really happy. I'm like, yes, these systems would do work. I don't just, talk about it, but actually I live it.
yeah. That's amazing. And I think most attorneys listening, they're loaded up to their ears with problems and issues with one law firm, let alone 6 and another business on top. So you're going to be the perfect person to sort of step in and really coach the folks listening to the show about what do they need to do to start getting organized in running and scaling a law practice. And let's start off with talking about why lawyers struggle so dramatically with this, solo to small firm movement and how to, feel comfortable building something out. Where do they really miss the boat?
Not mastering time management, I
Yeah.
would say, is a
Yeah.
good place to start for most people. People are
Yeah.
too busy to switch off that brain wavelength to go into planning, strategy, hiring, building, marketing kind of mental waves that you need to be able to do that. For me, I spend 100% of my time in that department. That means I don't do any of the stuff that I don't necessarily like doing or I'm not necessarily good at. I don't do the legal work. I don't take care of that. By all means, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but just I just know myself.
Yeah.
So instead, what I do is I lean towards what I'm good at and what I enjoy doing, and then I have trust to be able to hire and have people that can hire for me. And then at the same time, I go either hire or build teams that could create systems, automations, incorporating AI into our practices, things like that on a consistent basis.
Yeah. And I spend surprisingly a lot of time working with my clients on time management because the issue is going to be, hey, I don't have time to go out and develop business and build my law practice if I'm, billing 3,000 hours a year and if I'm doing all the admin and doing all the marketing and managing everybody and I'm wearing a dozen hats. So what's one or two time management hacks that really made a big difference for you, really being in a position to take ownership of your time?
Being super selective with my schedule.
Okay.
So the 2 tools that I use the most is Google Calendar for anything that needs to be time blocked, and then Todoist as my task manager, my daily task manager. And every day before I start the day, I know it clearly what I'm doing that day. And also, I want to make sure that it aligns with what I should be doing, not necessarily what I need to be doing. And, every day, very super selective, so much to a point where I feel bad for things my friends or things that people potentially want to talk throughout the day. I usually have a no policy. I have a kind of no meeting throughout the day kind of policy. If I can, if I can combine it somehow, we're in a group setting, great. If we can talk after 5 p.m., great, let's do that. If we can talk on the weekends, let's do that. But my golden hours, which is between about 7:30 a.m. to 8:15, I'm cranking out hardcore on my computer. Then I go drop off my kid at school. Then I go have a nice 1 hour workout with my trainer, come back, take a nice shower, come back to my computer by 10:30. I get another 1 hour in right there, go have lunch, and then come back, have another 2.5, 3 hours after that. So it comes out to about 4 or 5 hours, but those 4 or 5 hours are super concentrated, super focused, no distractions, no cell phone notifications, no computer notifications, no one demanding anything of me, and I'm just, doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, I also just am picking up on the power of that focus and the power of saying no. And I know we want to be nice people and I know we want to take every meeting and everything that comes our way. There's a point everybody should get to in their career where they have to be hypercritical about the meetings they take and how they spend their time. And I feel like, putting a note on your door that says, do not disturb, I'm in, doing brain work or anything you can do to get away from distractors and from things that aren't productive to your goal, I think is really critical.
For sure. And you create your own rules. I always say this, like you gotta create your own rules. If not, other people will make rules for you. So you gotta be clear on what you're, rejecting, eliminating, delegating, automating, all that stuff. If not, then the world will somehow is chaotic, will come and kind of put you in where it wants you to. But I'd rather stay in control and be the one who's selecting those decisions.
Yeah. So time management, trust me when I tell you that folks that are listening to this show, they've heard me rant about it, rave about it forever. And I've been a student of it for so long and teaching it for so long. I feel highly efficient. However, it's not easy. You have to be a student of the game. What other big mistakes are you seeing lawyers make when they're trying to grow their law firms? What can you help them avoid?
Um, the time management is the one piece. The other part is overthinking, which we kind of alluded to a little bit earlier. There's been so many times where I've been through this myself, trying to decide between option A and option B. And I had this epiphany when I would take these option A's and option B's to my mentor. I'm like, which one? And then the first time he's like, both. And then I came back again next week and I'm like, which one? He's like, both. And then I stopped asking whether it be A or B. And I realized it's just there's no point of trying to be in that decision stage. So like, which one should it be? At this point, I have an and kind of mentality. I I experiment with pretty much anything I could get my hands on. Obviously, you take calculated risk. If it's a vendor that I'm going to be working with, I'm going to make sure that they're scoped out. They come from a referral, somebody that I know that's done a successful with them. But once I have that on my plate, I am going to move it forward. So I don't wait on any decisions. I move things moving forward quickly. And again, that kind of speed to execution is really key, to make sure that you're not falling behind.
Maybe delegating some of the upfront research and work on a particular decision, and then it's sort of handed to you with information that allows you to make a quick decision as a part of it.
It's either yes or yes, usually. Very hard for
Okay.
me now, to say no, unless if I have a very convincing proof that it's not really going to work out.
Got it. Got it. All right. So we've covered time management as a learned skill. We've covered the power of saying no. We've covered some things that are important for lawyers. What's a practical strategy tool that lawyers can use to start to consider how to scale their business? They're a solo. They want to get that first employee. They want to start realizing the most revenue they can with the least overhead.
So there's 1,000 different ways to generate clients, pretty much these days. And over time, I leaned into the 80/20 Pareto principle to try to figure out that one thing, that one tool, that one source, that one vendor, that one thing that will give me the most of the results. And over time, I've been through so many different client sources and different things. I've been able to consolidate all that information and the experience to tell you that social media ads is by far, in my humble opinion, the best source for getting clients.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people lean into that different styles. Some people are kill it with organic, some people kill it with SEO, things like that. But my challenge is, I'll put it out there and I'll put it share with the world. I'll challenge anybody to come and just bring a random practice type or whatever that is and give us a 30-day challenge and say, Sam, I want to see how many clients can you generate for us versus anything else that you can do. And I know I'll be able to do that in a much higher chance of success, almost at 100% chance of success, as weird as it sounds, Steve. Just a matter of time until I figure it out, whether it be one day or a couple of days. But it's proven. The only nuance is you got to know what you're doing. You got to know how it works to be able to run social media ads. And by the way, when I say social media ads, let me be very explicit. This is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube ads, essentially. And I don't say Google Ads as part of this because Google Ads is the most saturated competitive space place it could be. But these other platforms, blue oceans, big markets, big opportunities there that have a huge opportunity for lawyers in 2025 and going forward to do really, really well.
Wow. Okay. So it's really lawyers that are getting successful on social media. But what about, I mean, there's B2C and there's B2B. We've got an audience of folks that are looking for consumers, and then we've got a whole other segment of our audience that's looking for, general counsels and CEOs and folks like that. Where are they hanging out? Is it on Instagram and Facebook, or is it on LinkedIn? I mean, how do we reach the people that are the big time decision makers for M&A transactions or big time litigation?
For sure. For most of the legal markets, 80% of it is going to be B2C. But for the 10 to 20% that are B2B, then yes, sometimes then LinkedIn, let's just say, might be a better source, or cold emails might be another good source. Um, but yeah, but even you'd be surprised, even B2Bs, there's still a lot of good decision makers that are all on social media. So wherever,
Yeah, yeah.
we're business owners ourselves. We're we're a business. We spend a lot of time on Meta. So yeah, you'd be surprised. Even B2B, it will work really
Yeah.
well with social
I
media.
mean, I see a lot of ads on Instagram. I scroll through Instagram and try to find something funny or something educational. And sometimes I hear, "Hey, lawyers, are you da 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 da?" And they go into the routine about, "Hey, lawyers, are you problem, solution, call me." Um, is that sort of like the hot thing to do right now? Is that, "Hey, lawyers," or that, "Hey, CPAs," or, "Hey, business owners"? Are you, I mean, I'm just following the trends that I'm seeing coming up and popping up on a regular basis.
In the past year to 2 years, there's been a influx and a wave of a lot of kind of, I call them kind of wannabe marketers.
Okay.
Um, People usually comes. I usually know what it is. It's just somebody who creates a course that teaches certain types of people to market, and that course tells them to go run social media ads to do that, and they all follow the same recipe, and they all sound the same. But the issue is they become good at running those types of ads, but they don't have enough experience to know the nuances of running actual law firm ads to actually get law firm clients. A lot of marketers just basically just say, hey, let me generate your clients the same way that I got you. But what I've learned over time, there's a lot of nuances. When somebody who's in a practice type, let's just say, who's been running immigration law ads for 4 years, that data that comes back, the nuances, the changes, the things that you need to know over time, those are the people that have the really good ROIs and that do well. So I would lean towards proven older contractors or vendors that have been doing it for some time versus these generic random ones that you happen to see on. If it's your first time hearing about them, probably not a good sign. You want to make sure to get somebody who's proven, been at
Yeah.
it for at least 5, 10, 15 years, the longer the better, to
Yeah.
make sure that you increase that chance.
Yeah, I love that. I really think it's so important, whether it's business development, marketing, operations, finance, that you really find people that are highly vetted, highly validated, have a track record of a success. There's just a lot of people coming to market, and I want them to be successful. I want them to make money and help people because that's what they want to do. But they also can't pretend that they are going to 10x or 100x your business because they put it on their LinkedIn headline, or because they do a "Hey, lawyers" ad. I think we need to really think about, like, I have all of my prospective clients attend my class that I teach so they can sort of audit it. I have them speak to my clients. I insist that they speak with my clients to know that what I'm going to be working with them on will get them similar results to what many of my clients get. So they're coming in with their eyes wide open, and I think that differentiates me from a lot of the up and comer, like, for example, coaches who just hung a shingle because they got to $500,000 and think that they can now teach people to get to $500,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be the guinea pig. Experience really, really, really matters. And I think as I grew up, I realized the value of experience. Working with vendors who've been there for some time, older, more sophisticated vendors usually also pans out, more likely for it to pan out. Also, very specific questions that I always ask is how many clients do you currently have? How many clients do you currently have that are in my practice type? What are their budgets? What are you doing for them? What's the result you're getting for them? What's the cost per acquisition? If they can't answer those questions and it's not very clear, it's not top of mind for them, then those are kind of early warning signs that they probably don't have what it takes to be able to grow with you.
I mean, I'm going to amend something that we just talked about a little bit. I think if you're new at business development, coaching, marketing, something, or new-ish, and you feel like you've got some skills, but you don't have any clients, I would find some guinea pigs, but I would charge them guinea pig dollars. I would say, look, I'm going to work with you. Normally I'm thinking 10 grand, but I'm going to do it for 1,000 because I want to help, get my name out there. I want to show success through you. Are you willing to be my guinea pig? So I think that there's a don't fake it. Charge the 10 grand, and then when they're unhappy, wonder why they're unhappy. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you is like there are lawyers that have specific types of clients that they should be going after, and maybe they're throwing out too big of a net, whether it's more too many social media channels or too many types of clients. What's the importance of finding the buyer persona and then finding the marketing channel that matches up and mirrors up with what their buyer persona is?
It's fundamental, and I'll give away a bunch of secret sauces in the next 5 minutes.
Fantastic. I was hoping you would. I'll take barbecue and sweet and sour, please.
So for anybody, trying to either figure this out or has been struggling or feel like they haven't got it down, make sure that you try to check off as many of these checkboxes as possible, ideally all six. Number one, are you focusing on one specific niche or practice type? Steve, I've seen, a lot of lawyers still to this day that are running multiple practice types at the same time. It's very hard these days in 2025 to be able to do marketing when you're, putting yourself out there that you do estate planning and immigration and criminal defense. So to just make sure that you're a single focus kind of practice type. Number two, very important, make sure that your client has a value of a minimum of $3,500 or more. I found that if you have clients that are worth less than that, usually there is going to be a cost to marketing for anything. And there's a cost to marketing, just to give some kind of ballpark estimate, is going to be anywhere from $300 to, let's say, $1,500. So if you have a $1,500 service and it's going to cost you $1,000 or $500 to $1,000 to generate that client, it's not going to leave in any money for you to be able to take that profit, throw it back into marketing. So a good kind of threshold is you need to build up the value to be at least $3,500 or more. Number three, what is your geographical location that you're reaching? A lot of times that I found, a lot of lawyers just target just the city. I can only take on clients in my city or county. They may have worked before, but because of the advent of online and online marketing, it becomes easier and easier to go create a website and do marketing, build up a Google My Business. It's just it's not enough of a market for you to only be focused on a single city or geographic. So ideally, multi-county, ideally minimum state basis. And if you can somehow also expand to federal or multi-state, that's where the real kind of money is made. Number four is quick collection, basically your cash flow. I found that a lot of lawyers, let's say SSD, big class actions, certain types of cases that are like, it takes 2 or 3 years to monetize these types of cases. Well, if you already have, your 10, 15 years, your system is already built for that and you can afford that, by all means, amazing. Great, go at it. But a lot of times, even if you're signing up because there's a number of clients, but your cash flow is not keeping up with it, it's very, very, very hard to grow. So make sure to align either, be kind of get creative with that, with timeline. Sometimes you may need to, my mentor calls it shaking the tree, getting through the clients faster, settling faster and, getting through this quickly. But that is key. Number four, make sure that you're optimizing your legal fee structures. The whole thing about hourly rates versus flat fees, sorting that out. I'm sure that's been discussed. And number six, I think the most important is you, your schedule, your commitment, and your constant development. You're the only common denominator across this entire thing called life. So whether it be the market or everything we've talked about, even if you have all these 5 first check marks, but you're not committed, you don't have a good schedule, and you're not constantly developing yourself, forget about it. There's no point of even getting through the first 5 things. So, and I quickly went through this, but I found that, if you really want to do well, check off all 6 and you'll be, having your best year yet.
Yeah. That's all really, really important stuff. I'm so happy you shared those 6 points because I know people are sitting like I am, jotting down, what you're saying, and every one of them should resonate. That they're as critical as the next, right? If you don't
Yeah,
have cash, right, you're stuck, right? If you don't have your pricing right, I mean, I've got lawyers coming at me in business development, and they're $50, $100 or more underneath market, and I'm just like, you need to start sending out some emails because this is over. Like, you got to get with it. You're a 10, 15 year seasoned veteran, and you're charging things that second years are charging. It's not appropriate. And tell your clients how lucky they are and that luck has ended. But you're not going to jack them up $100, but you'll jack them up 25 or 50 a year for a period of time, and they'll be thrilled. You know.
sure. And
So
Steve, usually whenever I share these things, I know people's brains like there's always limiting beliefs and there's always objections and reasons why the things that I shared, parts of it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for you, blah, 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 this whole things. But I kind of try to be very raw and then just give the idealistic kind of place. And usually this idealistic discovery that I share is where people eventually end up. And the only question is, how soon are you going to act on this knowledge that I just shared with you? Because eventually, yes, maybe it doesn't work for you now. But if you're going to be, again, questioning it 5 years later, 10 years later, until you make some changes, you're still going to be in the same place that you will be if you don't make any actions.
yeah.
So have that in mind, even though it doesn't feel good, to get to hear it. It's inevitable. We don't, this is the game. So we got to figure out the game and play the game, basically.
Well, I think we're going back to the beginning. Done is better than perfect, right? None of what you just said is going to happen perfectly, but when you get it done, there's going to be a lot of benefit to what you find at the end of that rainbow. Um, let's wrap up with our game-changing book. This is one that's been brought up on the show a number of times, and I'm happy you're bringing it up, and I would love to get your take on it because it sounds like you may follow the rules to this. The 4 Hour Work Week. Tell us about that book because that's not really what it means, right?
How'd you know that it was the defining book for me, Steve?
I just took a wild guess. You're more like the 4 hour work day, but I get that it's like it's trying to give people an understanding of the efficiencies that are needed in order to be successful, and you can't just wing it, and you just can't throw everything up against a wall. So talk us through a little bit why that book is so valuable.
I read that book, Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week book, early in my career. I think it was like my first year as a lawyer. And it opened up my eyes to first like the virtual model, basically running my law firm from anywhere, which now it's just, back then it was like crazy. What? You could run your law firm
Yeah,
anywhere in the
right.
world. And the second part was scaling. Scaling was basically for your business to grow and exponentially without you necessarily doing more work or doing significantly more work. So, very minimal input for big output. And the third kind of thing that it exposed me to was automations, things for business. And in the book, I think I put it into the realm of drop shipping. And then I try to apply the drop shipping model to a law firm model. How can a law firm be automated and for the work to be done without necessarily me doing the work? And I
Hmm.
started, as soon as I could learn these concepts, I started applying it to my law firm. Like, these rules sound amazing. This is like the optimal, idealistic, law firm that I would like to have. So let me try to abide by these rules. And it's still to this day, these rules are not broken. I'm still virtual, still,
Yeah.
living, working from my office bedroom. Still there's a lot of automations in play. Um, and it's fully scalable because as I build something and I grow something, I hand it off. It's doing its thing, and I'm able to move on to the next law firm and do it, rinse and repeat. It's
Yeah. I mean,
instrumental.
it's impossible, Sam, to do what you're doing without all of that. It just is. There's no way someone's running 6, 7, 8 businesses without automations, without delegation, without having proven processes in place. So kudos to you. And I'm just so happy that you were able to come on the show and share your wisdom and really add a lot of value to the folks listening. We got to wrap up with our wonderful sponsors, the Law Her podcast. You guys are going to want to check that out. And of course, Rankings.io, our friend Chris Dry over there, and phenomenal what he does. Sam, if people want to get in touch with you, they want to learn more about this, My Legal Academy, what are the best digits?
Just go on YouTube or Google, our favorite search bars, and search either my name, Sam Mollaei, or search My Legal Academy. I lead with value. I lead with what I'm good at, which is sharing and giving first. And then over time, you'll be like, oh, this kid actually maybe knows something or not. And then we do have a program called My Legal Academy that helps lawyers grow their firm, scale their firm. We have a focus on AI this year. There's a lot of AI stuff that I do. I have AI that texts leads, gets them qualified, gets them signed up. We're using AI to collect documents. We're using AI to draft documents. And now in 2025, we're bringing all those AI things that I'm currently doing, and we're having AI implementers come and set up the same systems for law firm owners. So yeah, go to mylegalacademy.com and book a call to speak to us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, sharing your wisdom. I just can't tell you how much I admire what you've accomplished. And I was just so happy to get you back on the show to get all that, all that information out to my audience. So thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Steve.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for spending some time with Sam and I today on the Be That Lawyer with Fretzin podcast, here every week, twice a week, to help you be that lawyer, confident, organized, and a skilled rainmaker. Take care, everybody. Be safe, be well. We'll talk again very soon.